I am here in this sun-drenched field with a patch of St. John's wort, and this is typically where you'll often find St. John's wort growing on the edge of farm fields, meadows, sometimes roadsides, somewhere where there's a fair amount of sun. Doesn't necessarily have to be full sun, although it does like that. Dry meadows, etc. This is Hypericum perforatum. This is the plant that we use as medicine. So here's a closer look at it. And this is the part of the plant that we would use, the flowers and unopened flower buds. This one is already full into flowering, so you can see some flowers that are past as well. If you want to really make good medicine from St. John's wort, you pick the flowers and unopened flower buds. That can be fairly tedious, so you could also make pretty good medicine from just gathering the top couple of inches of the plant at the right stage. And it does not, in my opinion, make a very effective tea. A lot of people drink St. John's wort tea, but I don't find it very helpful. It doesn't have a lot of constituents in it that are polar, i.e. water soluble. So a tincture is best, and I prefer a fresh plant tincture personally. One thing to say about St. John's wort is make sure, especially if you're gathering it, that you've got the right species. This is where botany is so crucial to herbal medicine. As herbalists, we rely on botany. You maybe are not a botanist yourself, or that's not your thing, but you better be relying on someone who knows what they're doing. There are over a dozen Hypericum species just in my part of the world alone, and others around the world. And some of them look a bit different, so it's easier to tell them apart. There is one other species that looks quite like a Hypericum perforatum. And in fact, one of the characteristics of this plant, the medicinal one, that people will often point to is that you look for small resin dots on the leaves, and you can see them sometimes with the naked eye, especially if you hold it up to the sun, but sometimes you want to use a loupe to confirm. The thing is, there is a native species of Hypericum punctatum, that grows around me in northeastern North America that has those as well. It has somewhat larger leaves and smaller flowers, so there's other steps you take to learn to identify them and tell them apart. Now, of course, St. John's wort is famous as medicine, and it can be incredibly helpful. I would say a couple of things about using St. John's wort for different types of depression. First of all, depression is just a general word, right? We need to look very individually at the person and what they actually need. And in this short amount of time, what I would say are two things that make me think of St. John's wort when St. John's wort resonates with me. Sorry about that. Are number one, somebody who feels better in the sunshine. They just feel happier in the sun. And that could be somebody who gets a little more depressed during the winter time when there's less sun. But there are also people who they want to live in a climate where there is regular, consistent, reliable sunshine. And they're not so happy in places where it's cloudy or overcast. There are some people where it's the reverse, by the way. Everybody's different. But that would be something I would look for. And then also St. John's wort. A St. John's wort person, I think, is someone who has a little bit of a frustrated quality to them. So the depression certainly includes sadness, but there's kind of a tense or frustrated quality to that, perhaps a little bit more erratic or volatile. So that's something to look for as well. And what you want to see with St. John's wort, just to show you this, hard to do while I'm holding the phone, but if you crush up the flowers and the unopened flower buds, what you'll get is this beautiful kind of magenta burgundy colored resin. That's how you know you have good quality St. John's wort. It should have that color to it. And that's what you're going to find in the flowers and unopened flower buds. So that's it for today. Take a look where I'm standing, this beautiful valley of the Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania, hanging out with the St. John's wort.